So I have already drawn out the polecat onto the canvas and given it a coat of acrylic gel medium and some raw umber as an imprimatura, or a painting layer to paint onto, a stained canvas. It makes it so much easier to paint on a stained canvas. Now the colours I'm going to be using are titanium white, Payne's grey, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, raw umber, transparent orange, cadmium orange, vermilion and alizarin crimson. Okay, so I'm just putting in now the basic shapes. I've done a bit more to the outline and to those relevant details that I don't want to lose because I've already painted over it with the imprimatura. So I've just sort of reaffirmed those and now going over with my large brush with some Payne's grey into this background so that the animal will really stand out against that background. A little bit of white into that Payne's grey will give me a nice bluey grey colour, and then a little bit of yellow ochre added into that will give me a nice green colour. I can make darker versions of that just with Payne's grey and yellow ochre. I can go darker still in certain areas. And also this dark area on its chest and throat, there, like so. And it's got a few little warmer areas where the light's going to be hitting the fur. And add some variations of colour there. Really messy though, because this is the messy stage. These are going to be the white areas of the fur on the face, the mask and the ears, and then a little bit darker for the actual mask itself on these little creatures. And then with a little fan brush, a worn bristle fan brush, I'll just put in some of this lighter areas of fur, very roughly and very loosely, because you can't do detail with a brush like this, which is why I use them. You don't get hung up on using little brushes. So that's basically got all those colours in, and now I'm going to use my silicone tool while it's wet to move that paint around and make it really messy and abstract. The background especially has to look quite abstract. So I really mess it up, make all sorts of marks in there and soften some of those edges of the animal to make them nice and abstract. And while the paint's wet in that bottom left hand corner, I'll just scratch my signature like I usually do. Then dry it off completely, let it cool down for a few seconds, and then I can start to paint into it once again, doing the second layer of the background using similar colours. They won't be exactly the same, but it doesn't matter. I'm just putting those over the dried layer, the first messy layer. And this time, this layer, with similar colours, I'll put in. When I start to go over with the silicone tool again, it'll be a lot more smoother. It'll produce a much smoother effect. Now, I've left links in the description below for all the tools and materials and equipment that I use. So if you're interested in any of those, then if you do use those links, then you'll be helping to support me and my channel. And it helps me to keep bringing you these videos. And I want to thank each and every one of you who have already helped me in this way. Thank you so much. Every little bit helps. Okay, back to the painting. Putting some of those warms back in. And you can see I'm still being quite messy with the actual painting structure, because I like to start with a messy painting and slowly bring it together where I want it brought together. It's difficult to mess an area up after you've done it in a nice detailed way. So I'm not doing detail, I'm painting in an abstract method, especially for the background, and then mainly impressionistic style and techniques for the foreground and the rest of the animal, with a little bit of detail just here and there where it's required, and using really nice loose brush strokes at this stage. And the way to use loose brush strokes with acrylics is to be bold with them, and also paint quickly, because you'll find, or most people find, painting with acrylics is it dries too slowly. You see how I use my fingers there just to blend? It makes it look so much like oil painting. Now, if you paint with acrylics, you'll notice it dries quickly. Well, there are ways to stop it and slow it. And one of the methods I use is to use a very fine mist spray. Well, first of all, I paint quickly. You must learn to do that. It helps tremendously, both in painting loose and also painting with wet paint. But then with a mist spray, I spray the dry painting with a very, very fine mist so the painting is damp, not wet. Don't want the water running down the canvas. You just want it damp. And then when you apply the paint on the top of that, not using any water, just use pure paint onto the top of that damp canvas. What you're doing is you're painting onto moisture. And you're painting a layer onto the top of that moisture. And that moisture takes a lot longer to evaporate than if I was painting with paint mixed with water. Paint mixed with water will dry much quicker because it dries via evaporation. Whereas if you're painting over a damp layer, it will take much longer to dry. This is the big secret of painting with acrylics. There's not very many people, if any that I know of, will tell you this secret. It's not really a secret, it's a tip. And I've used for many, many years. And I discovered this by accident. Painting on a very wet, miserable day inside a marquee tent, demonstrating with acrylics, and I found that the paint wasn't drying at all. 3 or 4 hours went by and the paint was still wet on the canvas. It was then that I had that eureka moment. That's how to keep acrylic paints wet. The environment. I thought, well, I can't have paint in a wet environment, so how am I going to do it? Well, the answer is, you've got to keep the canvas damp. It does exactly the same thing. So I'm hoping if you use this technique, well, mention it in your comments below if you do use it and you're finding it helpful. I'll be very interested to read those comments and anything you have to say on using this technique. I think you'll find it much, much simpler to use. And then if you want to dry it off, use the hairdryer. Because there are many occasions where I have to use the hairdryer because the paint is drying too slowly. So you don't really need slow drying mediums to add to the paint. I don't use any now. I have done in some of my earlier videos, but these days I don't tend to use any. The only medium I will ever tend to use these days is a glazing medium, and I'll do that, a little bit of that towards the end, when I put a little bit of colour into the ears and elsewhere. So now I'm using my other little tricky technique, this splayed bristle technique, where I bend the bristles like that of this old worn brush, and it produces all these hundreds and hundreds of little bits of fur, little lines, tiny little lines. Now you do have to mix this a little bit more wet, so the paint will have to be mixed with a little bit more water in order for it to do this, to come off the brush. But again, if you spray the canvas so it's damp, it will come off the brush a lot easier. And you'll see this when I paint the whiskers on later. You'll see that it's a very fine brush I'll be using, so I spray a little bit of water, again, mist spray, so the canvas is damp, not wet. And then using this very fine brush, not this one I'm using here, the fine liner brush, to put in the whiskers. You can paint long, thin lines because the dampness of the canvas will draw the paint off the brush and allows you to do these long, thin lines, which you could not do on a dry canvas. You have to get it just right. Too much and the paint will run. Too little and it won't draw the paint off. So experiment. Find out how much you should and shouldn't use. Okay, I'm just slowly building it up now. I'm going to put another layer of shadow area, dark area with Payne's grey on that chest there. And then I'll add in some other colours of foliage this time over the top of all that. Now, I'm not painting every single leaf. I don't want to do every little vein in every leaf. I'm just going to loosely put them in with this worn bristle fan brush. And then I'm going to use my fork, kitchen fork, just to scratch very loosely and lightly into those to reveal parts of the painting underneath. And it starts to automatically look like leaves with little bits of texture and grain to them and veins. Now a little bit of alizarin crimson with some white, and using the brush in an upright manner, and the corner of the brush, I can put in some of these little flower areas, and again use the fork to mess that up. Now with another bristle flat brush, I'm just going to put in some more leaves, a little bit lighter this time, on the top of those others that have now dried, and just building all this foliage up bit by bit. And then a few little lighter ones here and there, where they're just catching a little bit more light. And then I'll go over with the fork once again, just a little bit. Don't go mad with it, else it'll look too forced. Now I'm going to do the whiskers, and you can see how those fine lines are just falling off the brush. It's a little bit too wet on the right hand side, and a couple of those whiskers have become a little bit blurred as the paint's run. But don't worry about that, I'll show you what to do there. So I'll just put those ones in first. But I'm going to just use my finger and just tap those areas of those whiskers on the right hand side, and it'll just take them out while they're wet. So just tap it with my finger like this, and it takes them away, and I can paint back over the top. It's still slightly there, slightly visible. Once the other whiskers are on, you don't notice it. So that's how to correct that mistake. And acrylics are wonderful for correcting mistakes. A little bit of splatter work now, where you do need the paint quite thin, and an old nylon brush, worn one, and just flick the paint onto the canvas. I love doing this technique. It creates a little bit sense of movement, and then a few little dots and dashes with those colours here and there, and a few bluey greys as well, just to create the effect of different kinds of light on different leaves. Remember, it's the impression of foliage, it's not detailed, realistic foliage. The only detail here is in the face of the animal. There's none anywhere else, so that face of the animal is going to be the main focus of attention. That is always where the viewer's eye is going to be drawn to. And you do that by detail and by soft and hard edges. The soft edges towards the lower half of the animal are drawing your eye up to the harder edges. I'm putting those lights back in once again because they will dull down as they dry, so you need to just keep reaffirming them. Make sure they're as bright as they should be. Now a little bit of glazing medium. I'm just going to add in some transparent cadmium orange there into the ears, and a little bit of vermilion added to that will give it a lovely glow, so you can see the light coming through the ears. And I just need to tidy up the eye shapes a little bit more now, so I've gone over those details I put in, but don't worry, I'll put them back. That's the beauty of acrylic paints. Okay, just lighten that area up in the ear there. So I'll just tidy up the eyes once again, make sure I've got the highlights in the right place and the shape of the eyes. So I'll get some, when I've got rid of the light colour, I'll get some dark on there and just reaffirm and re-establish the shape of the eyes, and I'll just go over the entire painting like that until I'm happy, and then that's the painting finished. Hopefully I will see you on my next painting video, so until then, have a lovely day and happy painting!